From the looks of it, she has the biggest balls over there at the Daily Wire. Bigger balls than, sadly, even Jordan Peterson, who is basically a shell of his old 2016 self, you know? So as you guys know, the Palestine-Israel conflict that's happening is a very touchy subject for our little Jewish friend Ben Shapiro, who likes to call anybody who doesn't have his opinion a anti-Semite. Well, Candace Owens opened up a giant can of worms over there at the Daily Wire for simply stating the obvious, for noticing something that she wasn't supposed to notice. And if you do notice that said something, do not talk about it, or else you could get canceled. Check this out right here. Candace Owens compares the media's recent outcry over anti-Semitism to their complete silence on anti-white racism. Quote, "What makes Jews so special?"
There are a lot of people in America that are sitting here going, okay, well, can you answer why Jews are so special? Because as white people in this country on university campuses, we are being taught that we are not allowed to have a voice. We have had to endure exactly what you're talking about, BLM. We've endured much worse than you have because it's in the actual textbooks. We are being told that we are systematically racist, that we are born wrong because of the color of our skin. And if we say anything, we'll lose everything. This is the typical experience on white campuses. So people, this is not whataboutism. This is like actually what we have been fighting for years. So it sort of arrived as, I think, for a lot of Americans, a surprise when they're saying, well, now that it's about Israel, which is something that's overseas, we need to, hand these university professors, we need to do something about this issue. Why weren't we trying to correct course on this issue? Why weren't donors pulling their funding out of these universities? Why weren't these same things being said for these last, I would say, 8 years of rampant BLM, white man can't do anything right, actively being taught in the classrooms?
Amazing. Candace Owens talking about the elephant in the room. Why is it that our Republican Party is so pro-Israel? We're willing to give foreign aid to Israel, which, by the way, we already give $5 billion a year, the most in foreign aid to Israel. And then, yet we have to go over there and help them in this war against the Palestinians in Gaza. Doesn't make any sense. But then simultaneously, the same people that are so pro to go to war against Gaza and the Palestinians and Hamas say, hey, you know what? We shouldn't be going to war in Ukraine. How about we don't go to war to either one of them? Okay, how about we put America first, right? And one big problem that I have specifically in the current candidates that are running against Donald Trump, biggest shill Zionist is, of course, Nikki Haley, who has a famous quote here that she likes to say over and over again.
Last thing we need to do is to tell Israel what to do. The only thing we should be doing is supporting them and eliminating Hamas. It is not that Israel needs America. America needs Israel. They are the tip of the spear when it comes to this Islamic terrorism, and we need to make sure that we have their backs in that process.
That's garbage. And again, she loves saying it. She loves saying it.
I want to learn from those and apply those to protect our homeland, Nikki.
Israel needs America. America needs Israel.
Okay.
So she never misses an opportunity, including tweeting that same phrase, all right? And I say this, if you're not America first, you're America last. This is the rhetoric that gives Ben Shapiro a boner every single time he hears Nikki Haley say something ridiculous like that. Well, like going back to Candace actually had something great to say, since we know our good friend Nikki Haley likes going to war and she's so pro-Israel, right? Fucking Israel doesn't need America. America needs Israel. She had a great segment on her show. Check this out. Endorsing Nikki Haley.
Well, I am here today to endorse Nikki Haley for president of Israel. I think she's earned that. I think Bibi Netanyahu is going through a very bad time right now. Support for Israel has virtually collapsed socially. If you're paying attention to the trends and you're paying attention to what people are watching, you're paying attention to the protests. And the one person that I think is capable of getting it back is Nikki Haley, with enough money from foreign interest lobbies.
All right.
So there it is, guys. I'm endorsing Nikki Haley, president of Israel.
So this is the absolute clown world when she says something ridiculous like that. And of course, Ben Shapiro gets a big old hard on for that stuff. Well, Ben Shapiro did obviously have something to say about Candace, saying, quote, she is disgraceful. Check out this next clip right here.
About Candace Owens. Yes, the question was about Candace Owens. I think her behavior during this has been disgraceful. Without a doubt.
So he said, that her behavior, everything she's saying is disgraceful. Now, I don't know where he's speaking, but from the looks of it, it looks like it's a wedding or some kind of private event. And by looking at the people in the background, I do notice there's some pretty big noses going on here. So I can only assume that the people he's talking to are his people.
I can't know that. Yeah, she still works for my company. And I think she's been absolutely disgraceful. I think that her faux sophistication on these particular issues has been ridiculous. It's not faux sophistication, it's ridiculous. Everybody can see the moves that she's making and the things that she's saying, and I find them disreputable.
There you go. So I think that Candace Owens' time over there at the Daily Wire is probably numbered. There's probably a countdown after all this, because this isn't the first time Ben Shapiro has criticized Candace Owens for, I guess, her opinion on the Jewish race or hanging out with people who don't necessarily care too much for the Jews. For example, Kanye West, who made a couple comments on the Jews, which are based in reality. Like, let's be honest. He said something about how the Jews own a big amount of the banks. I mean, that's not incorrect. That's completely true. But again, people like Ben Shapiro will call anybody, and they don't hesitate to do that, but anybody a anti-Semite. But of course, since Candace Owens works for him over there at the Daily Wire, it's probably not good for business to be calling her a anti-Semite. So it's not necessarily good for business. But hey, I will say this. From the looks of it, she has the biggest balls over there at the Daily Wire. Bigger balls than, sadly, even Jordan Peterson, who is basically a shell of his old 2016 self, you know? So he was a man that bent the knee for a paycheck, but Candace Owens did state her opinion. I got to give respect where respect is due, so I'll give her that. But Candace Owens isn't the only one that's going to be getting called into Principal Shapiro's office for a strict talking to. Another person that's been insinuating in his segments about America First policies when it comes to Israel and Hamas is Matt Walsh, who has been noticing what's going on in our current politics and how our politicians are currently switching to Israel first and America second. And this is what Matt Walsh had to say about that stuff.
It's an insane way to speak about your own country. Nobody talks like this about their own country outside of America. Do you think Israelis say this kind of thing about Israel? This is a uniquely modern American phenomenon. It's like a sickness, a mental sickness, where some of our leaders, or would-be leaders, profess greater admiration and love for and pride in foreign countries than their own. It's just a crazy thing to say. Again, you go, especially anywhere outside of the, outside of the Western world in particular, and you're not going to ever hear this kind of thing.
Yeah, there you go. So Matt Walsh is slowly but surely noticing what's going on with the Daily Wire and how some of our leaders, and by the way, Joe Biden has multiple Jewish people in his cabinet that are running America currently that have a Zionist agenda, which is why we are pushing for help with Israel and pushing for a World War III currently. And that's from our own Biden administration. It's not just the Republicans that are being warmongers. This is the one issue where Republicans and Democrats, specifically the Dick Cheney, George W. Bush Republicans, can all get behind. There's a reason why Vivek Ramaswamy called Nikki Haley Dick Cheney in 3-inch heels, okay? What do you think he was talking about? It's the ridiculous Israel first, America second policies and rhetoric that's currently being pushed. And Matt Walsh is noticing it. And for noticing it, he might be getting called in to the principal's office with Ben Shapiro. But hey, Matt, go ahead and just cross the line. Fuck it. Just cross the damn line and say the truth. When you get fired, just go get a job at Mug Club with Steven Crowder. I'm pretty sure he'll be happy to accept you. But anyways, guys, like, subscribe, comment down below. That's all I've got for you guys today. This has been Project VO Pod. I'm your host, Jake Varr, and Trump 2024. I'm going to catch you guys on the next Project VO Pod. Tell me your thoughts down below. Peace.